Good morning. Breakfast. Salmon and potatoes because I need energy today. It was kind of a whirlwind of a week. And you know how the universe is like the ultimate joker? I said that I was going to make space this weekend and do nothing and just get organized. It was packed. So I don't know if you had that kind of a weekend or not, but this week, so we're returning to work and we just had Labor Day, so I am really shifting to more of a labor of love. I mean, I love what I do anyways, but I'm like, how can I make this even more magical? So that's one of the questions I ask myself in the morning. How can I experience this more magical? And I have been up since probably 5:30ish, and I've already did my tea ceremony, and now I'm having matcha because I love matcha, and in this fox cup because I want to call on the fox cleverness energy, and everything is intentional and can be ceremonial and ritualistic, and your life is as rich as your rituals. And so when you do that, it just makes life more fun, right? How can you experience this more magical? So whatever you do, like maybe like when you're looking through your cup drawer, this doesn't apply to me anymore. Or I want to see less and just do the things I love. It's the whole like spark joy thing with like Marie Kondo, you know, the magic of tidying. And there's so much truth to that. And these days I'm like, see less to see more. Because if your life has so much, you can't see it. And I realized that I have this low clutter threshold where like that makes me anxious. And right now I want to make space. There's a lot of new things that shifted where I want, and just being present to where Isabella is at. So yeah, I changed. And you know what? You can change. This is your journey. So fall in love with your journey. And you can choose whichever way you want to go. You're like, oh, you know what? You're on Route 44. I decided that I want to go up north and see this. You can do it. Just like in your mind, you know, you can do that too. And right now, we are entering such a powerful time, but it's very, very confusing. And I know it. And even though I know it, I don't even know what's in store for me. But I just know that I need to be in the strongest vibration and hook up to that frequency and the vibrational impact of it and work through the lower frequencies. You got to work through the lower ones so it doesn't hold you back anymore. It's not stagnant energy. And so this is also the, in Chinese medicine, the Moon Festival, which is the 21st, the 17th and 18th. But then the equinox is on the 21st and 22nd. And you know, this is the universal calendar. And it's also, that is the time of the full moon. And so, you know, all these things are in correlation with each other. So if you just understand the waves, you can ride them. There's going to be a lot of like switchback and zigzagging emotions, and it's for you to finally work through. They're all opportunities. I won't lie to you, they're going to be challenges. But what if you can shift that mindset to love the challenges, and the challenges are opportunities, and what you've been asking for, and you're probably like, I didn't ask for this. I'm going to tell you, you did. And it's the universe's way of teaching you. And remember, it is the ultimate joker. So, yeah, this morning I had lots of thoughts, and your mind is a mental mess. And you have to organize it. You have to have a container for it and organize it so you can flow. I didn't like that before, but now I see all the mental mess and I can't do it all. And I want to do it all. And then I just become sputtered or scattered. I don't know if you're like this as well. If you do, give me a heart. Yeah, so this morning I just did a lot of brain dumping, and I asked, how can I make this more magical? What do I want to call into my life? What has been showing up repeatedly trying to teach me a lesson? Because nothing goes away until you learn the lesson. Or it's like you asked for it and the universe is like, hey, here's your chance. Hey, pay attention to this. And it doesn't make sense to anybody else, but it will make sense to you. And what did you really feel good about that came up? So I read Tools of Titan, and I did a post on it yesterday. And it's about, I read it from the excerpt of Robert Rodriguez. And he is the one that wrote filmed From Dusk Till Dawn, and then the Spy Kids series. And he's a very creative, interesting person. And he says that your life doesn't change just because of like one day or one incident. It's actually over a series of 4 or 5 days, normally on a weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And if you're aware of it, then you will shift. And then if you will look at the experiences, what felt good, and also the failures, or what you think is failures, there you can actually turn it around. And so, for instance, he made that movie, Four Rooms, and it's it's over a night of New Year's Eve, and there's like 4 rooms and families. The movie bombed. It was a Quentin Tarantino movie. However, from that, because of who he chose in his room, he's like, oh, this would be a really cool thing with like spies, and the kids don't know that their parents are spies. It spawned a whole series of Spy Kids, and then a TV show, a movie, so many things. And so that is kind of like this zigzagging of energy right now. And the universe is making a clearing for you. And so many times we don't like that. But if you don't make space for it, how can you put more in? And so I have been clearing the whole time where I'm like, does this fit me anymore? Is this what I want in my life? And it's about decluttering. So there's a couple of tips for you for decluttering. One, my friend Trish told me this, and it's so brilliant. It's don't put it down. Put it away. Don't put it down, put it away. Everything has a home, you know. And when you put it away, ask, if I was to need this or look for it, where would I find it? And put it away there. So for instance, fingernail clippers, most people have it in the bathroom. I need it actually in my kitchen junk drawer. Because that's when I'm cooking, like, oh, my nails are too long. Oh, things are in it. That's when I want to clip. So think about your brain, because you know how many times you're like, I'm going to organize this. This is the logical way. And then you're like, where the fuck did I put that? Yeah. So, yeah, don't put it down. Put it away. Give it a home. And if you were to need it, where would you find it? And then the second question is, if I was to have 2 of these, where would I put them? Do I need them? And then you'll be able to get rid of your clutter. And I want you to start with like your front area first, because that's when you first come in and you enter your home, and it's the mouth of chi. What do you see? Because for me, I have a low clutter threshold where it makes me like really edgy and anxious and more overwhelmed. And my little girl knows this now, where she puts things out, and I was like, Isabella, we need to put things away if you're not done with it. Because remember, mommy has a low clutter threshold. And when she feels my anxiety, she's like, Mom, I'll put things away. I know you have a low clutter threshold. But she has this list, and so she says it really funny. And yeah, so I encourage you to this month, make space, make room for the new things you want. Also know what you want in your dreams and what you're ready for. I've been doing the infinity walk where I have 2 rocks, and this is on my YouTube video with this technique introduced to me by Pam Gregory and this other gal. I can't remember her name now. So 2 rocks, and then as you enter this space, you reclaim yourself by saying your name in the I am statement. I am Twee Dom, born on April 3rd, 1978, and the one frequency that you want to be, and I am luminous grace. And then I open it up and I say, I am open and ready for. So maybe it's a challenge that I'm having right now, and I need a solution, or I need people to help me with this. I'm open and ready for surrendering to my solutions, because I realize I need to surrender more. I have control issues. And then I walk that in a figure 8, where I have my chin up, because in Chinese medicine, your chin is your willpower and your grit and your courage and your confidence. And I breathe, and sometimes I do different hand movements. Sometimes I do the infinity wave, and then I exit. And I say, and so it is. I am open and allowing for the process to flow. Whatever feels good to you. Experiment with some of these things, like what I suggested, but don't be so honed on it, and don't think that you have to do it right. You will always do it right, and every time you do it more, you'll tweak it, and then you'll feel better. And every day you're supposed to feel different. So I already did that this morning, and where I did the infinity walk and I journaled it out, and then giving my mental mess organization, because otherwise, if there's no river bank, the water just flows everywhere and then it dries up. And so here are some of the things that came into me this morning. Well, the song, Every Day is a Winding Road, you know, the one by Sheryl Crow. And it doesn't make any sense to you, but when you ask, your intuition will normally tell you within 6 seconds. It could be that fast, to like 2 minutes. And if you pay attention to your senses, it will direct you to the right place. And so sometimes, then when you go to your senses, what do you hear? What do you smell? What do you taste? What do you feel? Okay, and so I heard the song, Every Day's a Winding Road. And then it switched, where life is a highway. I want to ride it all night long. And then, who let the dogs out? Oof, oof. Who let the dogs out? So I just write it down, and then I'll filter it later. And then it told me, remember, it's not an or, it's an and. And I've been playing with this whole thing, and it was introduced to me by Jasmine Starr, who I follow on the Social Curators membership that I belong to. And she says, you know, there's hood me, and then there's holy me. Hood me and holy me. And that's like totally me, because I didn't grow up in the hoods, but I did grow up in Southern California in areas, and we were really, really poor. So that's the hood me, right? And then my family's always been more religious, although now I'm more spiritual in the work that I do. And a friend of mine, when I told her this, she's like, Twee, I went to this place and it said that you can be a temple and a disco ball. And so I have had a thing for disco balls. So I love that. And so, yeah, hood me, holy me, and then I'm a temple and I'm a disco ball. And so I use this disco ball to anchor me. And in my tent, I have put up a disco ball there as well. And that's where I do my tea ceremonies and then also my spray tans. And so that tent now is my disco ball temple. Everything can be sacred space that you define it, and you give it meaning, and you give it reverence, and you anchor it from the celestial to the terrestrial. So I found these pens at the dollar store. And so I've been using it as my wand as well, abracadabra. When I write, I send intentions to it. I write my reality tales, I send it abracadabra. I also have another pen, or actually pencil, and it has these lips on it. And this is what I'm thinking. So the other things that came to me is no drama solutions. And then like right now we are entering a time of really a lot of changes and setting the wave for the new foundations. And just flashes of the movie Divergent came to me, and I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, and because September is more about adventures, and so I was like, what adventures await? And then Doctor Strange came up for me, and the Hunger Games. Right now we're going through a time of the Hunger Games, yeah. And then the movie The Rising of Red, because I just watched that this weekend with my little girl. She loves this movie, and it's The Descendants. It's the 4th one. And it's like, what is the rise of red? And that's who she wants to be for Halloween. So it keeps coming up to you, and then it pops up. Maybe there's a message in it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to anyone else but you. And the world's not logical, it's magical. The world's not logical, it's magical, and we forget that. And so the other theme for me is remember, and slow down. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. Slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And I've had this before, but it kept coming up again because I asked for answers, and I just jotted down. If it repeats, I need to pay more attention to it. And Tracy Stanley and Sophia Costa tuned me into this. Slow remembers, fast forgets. Slow remembers, fast forgets. Stillness remembers, haste forgets. Stillness remember, haste forgets. Surrender remembers. Fear forgets. Surrender remembers. Fear forgets. Remember your magic. Remember you are magic. Yeah. So, I am a nerd. I love alliterations. And I've been on this whole thing. Redecide, revision, recommit, renew, reset, release, remember. So every day I do my re's. What will you read today? Because repetition is the mother of skill, and we forget. And so every single day is a decision. And your decisions bring you to your new reality. All right? And sometimes it takes a while for that, and also for the integration and the grounding. But today, my alliterations start with E, because we're going into a new moon, new perspective, new dreams. And I ask, does this align? And then with whatever that comes up for me to do, because I need to say no to more things. Explore, experiment, expand, and evolve. Explore, experiment, expand, and evolve. So that's this week's energy for me. You just got to explore it and experiment with it, expand, and evolve, and turning whatever failure to be reevaluating, looking at through a different lens. Why did this show up? What can I learn from this? What is the gift? And then Jasmine Star, she did a training for us where she said that Seth Godin gave her this mantra: this might not work, but that's okay. Because we're all afraid to fail, right? And we got to calm down our nervous system, and our reticular activating system, or our subconscious, doesn't know right or wrong, good or bad. It just knows what you program it. And it wants to keep you safe as well. And so to feel safe, to ground it, this might not work, but that's okay. This might not work, but that's okay. For some reason, this switches the brain to say, hey, it might not work, but there's a possibility. And I'm going to find that possibility. And then you walk through the doors that are presented to you. You explore it, you experiment, you expand, and you evolve. And then you repeat it again. Repeat it again. And you might not like it. Sit in that uncomfortable feeling. Work through the lower vibrations. Work through the lower vibrations. And then so it passes, doesn't stay stuck energy. And then from there, take another step. The road of 1,000 miles starts with one small step. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Don't look back. You're not going that way. Put your chin up, because remember, this is your grit and your tenacity and your courage and your confidence. Call on the power of that face feature. It's your water element. It's determination. It's strength. So this week, I'm going to explore these things. And I tell Isabella this all the time too, like when she doesn't like a taste, to try 8 or 9 times, like little dabbles of it. And then you'll get used to it, because your taste buds change every 28 days. Your taste buds change every 28 days. So these mind shifts, these habits will change in 28 days. Little dabs, and you don't have to go full force. Drip it and allow yourself to be slow and go 70%, not 100%, and let that integrate into your body. Let that fuse into your body as a ritual instead of a habit, as a ritual, because then you richify your life. And your life is as rich as your rituals, and it gives it reverence. It makes things more fun. It makes things more magical. So remember, how can I make today more magical? And then I adjusted to that, because I was saying that for probably like 2 weeks. I tend to make things complicated and like more steps. It's simple. Keep it simple, otherwise you won't ever do it. So how can I make this day more magical and simple? And normally it's gonna say to-do list. For me, I have a list of to-dos, and now I've switched to I get to do, but I realize how over planning I do and how what's that word? I just expect that I can do more than I can, and then I don't do it well, and then I make haste. So doing less to accomplish more, and just things that really aligned. So this week, I'm all about connections and collaborations because I don't want to do it alone. I hate doing it alone, and plus it's so much more fun. Like this weekend, I learned how to make sourdough bread, and I did a little class with it with my friend that was hosting it, and then I invited 3 other friends. Only one was able to go, but oh my gosh, we've been exchanging recipes, and then then the other one's like, hey, did you learn? I'm like, yeah, let me send it to you. And then I had the starter for them, so I brought it over, and then we kind of did it together, part of it as a play date with our little girls, and then she's now obsessed with it too, and so now I've got like 2 other friends to explore this sourdough making thing, and which we're gonna be doing different breads, and then it's spawned off to butters as well. I get obsessive, so obsessive, because I'm compulsive, obsessive like that. But it makes it fun for me, and somehow I weave that into my day where it doesn't feel like a lot, but it's just what I do and what I'm learning. So this week, allow yourself to be creative, get into your obsessiveness and explore that, experiment, expand, and evolve, and really know what you want. Make space for it. Remember, don't put it down, put it away. Organize it so you can make space for it. So I had babbled enough, but I needed to because I needed to get it out. And I hope that you enjoyed this as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go live again in September because there's so much, and what I say can really activate you, can really help you get through something that has been holding you back. My main mission is to bring peace to your head, heart, and home. And I realized that last year, and it took me 2 years to figure out this one simple saying, that my mission statement. I've been doing a lot of work with it, like all these coaches and like books and whatever, but I just couldn't hone it down. So that might be you too, getting your mission, and for at least right now, okay, it's not mission impossible, it is mission possible. So find out what your mission is, what brings you joy, and have it simplified in one saying. So my mission is to bring peace to people's heads, hearts, and homes. And I do this mainly with Chinese face reading and energy clearings. And I want always to help people be in their element, because as a young child, I had this pressure to be perfect and to do things another way, and that I didn't know how to do it. But now I realize I'm neurodivergent, and I'm sensory processing, and I get information in a different way, and I'm slower, but that's okay, because the tortoise won the race. The tortoise won the race. So set your own pace. Don't compare. Allow yourself to grow. Accept what is and surrender to the process. It's all working out for you. So that's your mindset shift. That's my mindset shift. And then whatever you want, normally, like I said, the answers come to you within a certain time. Just put it down. You can always get rid of it, but if you don't write it down, you don't anchor it, your mind doesn't know to look for it. And then put it in an envelope. Put it in an envelope, whatever your main wish is, okay? And the theme, it only makes sense to you. And this is the container, and then whatever thoughts come in, get it on a Post-it and put it in here. Draw a picture on it if you want to, whatever way makes it look good for you. And then things that come in, ideas and whatever, but give it one structure so that it can grow like a seed. And this is my envelope actualization process. And so then I just flip through it, and then I don't need to even read it, It's just like a reminder for me on things. And so, yeah, then I just carry it with me and I document there. I hope I gave you some tools to play with, to explore, to experiment, to expand and evolve.